Good morning. It's Ben again, my friends. Believe it or not, I actually made it out in the shop before 11 o'clock in the morning. That don't happen around here. But I got a confession to make, and then we'll get into taking this carburetor off of the little lawn tractor, the little case we're working on. Y'all forgive me. I did a bad thing. I got what's called a selfie stick. Basically what it is a little flimsy looking camera stand looking thing, and I was told it'll help you get better shots of what you're doing, and you can use both hands and not have to cut away and come back as much. So if this video is chaotic and all over the place and a big mess, I'll post it anyway, just to show I either figured out how to use this thing or I don't know what I'm doing. I'll go back to the way I was. The little old thing's got what to do with it. I done lost it. It's supposed to be Bluetooth, connect with Bluetooth. It's got a little bitty remote that I could lose in less than 5 minutes if I ain't careful. So we're going to try it. I'm going to try to video more of what I'm doing, since maybe I can use both hands if I can figure this thing out. And I don't know why there's all kind of little electric wires and plugs and stuff all over this little old thing. It looks like something you'd give $2 or $3 for at dollar store, which I ain't got nothing against the dollar store. Shop there all the time. But anyway, y'all experiment with me, see if this turns out any better, be able to see a little bit more of what we're doing. I'm gonna pause it here. I'll still have to pause it and stuff. I'm gonna sound like director Clint Eastwood, a good shot setup, award-winning shot, and then I'll come back on. We'll see if we can't get this carburetor off. That's our main thing, get the little tractor running. But I thought this might help us a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see how this does. And some of you might be kind of new to the channel, hadn't watched any of my older videos. This is just me and my cell phone. I don't have GoPros and all of that. I wouldn't buy them. Again, I don't get paid for from YouTube. I just record what I do. It helps me go back and look and see stuff maybe I missed or whatever. And I don't have I don't even know if you can time lapse on a cell phone or not. So I know my videos seemed a little elementary, and they are, but that's why. It's just my cell phone. And this little stand I got is the most highest technology thing I've got, and it's probably all I'm going to get, because my main goal is whatever I'm working on, get it fixed, repaired, or do the best I can with it and move it on down the line. And if at some point, the Lord willing, it be that YouTube, we can make a few bucks here and there off of it, we might try to improve a little bit, but for now, we're just using what we got. Alright, that's enough talk. Let me see if we can get this carburetor off of here. See what we got. And I will be pausing it off and on along just to keep the video from running real long. Okay, what I went ahead and did, I just paused it because I was afraid I'd knock this thing over or something. All I did so far was the governor up here that had a little C-ring, C-clip. I've unhooked that, and the choke cable. The actual throttle cable looks like it is hooked to the governor, so I don't think I'll have to take that loose. I'd rather not. Everything you take loose is just something you have to try to remember to put back on. So I think fuel line, and it looks like we got two. Well, it's a Phillips head, and also looks like you could use an open end wrench, and it should come off. So let's see what we can do there. We can get a wrench back in there. Wrench. Depending on what part of the country you're from, what you call them. That's a little big. Let me see if I can do it with a flathead screwdriver. Some people call them a straight screwdriver. It's 6 of one and half a dozen of another, I reckon. Ooh. Well, that's not wanting to play nice. Let me get a bigger screwdriver. Okay, I got my big screwdriver. It won't work, but we'll just have to try to get it with an open end wrench tool. Funniest thing, us southern folks, I reckon, they hear other folks tell it we got our own language. They call it a southern accent. Sure, that sounds fancy. You know, we better get that fuel line loose first. So, and drop everything. Shoot, if I didn't drop stuff all the time, I wouldn't have nothing to do. Let's see if this fuel line will come loose. It's metal. Nah, it won't with that one. That's too big. I work slow anyway. I'm a very slow person. I reckon I wore myself out early being in a hurry when I was younger. And I realized it didn't matter how big of a hurry I got in. Some things it don't matter. It's going to take its own sweet time. I used to drive a truck for years, 18-wheeler, 8 or 9, 10 years. I don't even remember. It was long enough. Whoops. Is that going to spew out gas? Maybe not. I don't mind a little bit, but a whole lot's too much. And anyway, I had the same route. I drove local. I didn't drive over the road. Wasn't an over the road driver. But I would notice, and I had the same route every day. So when you run the same roads every day, you kind of see the same traffic people going to and from work. And you actually kind of get used to who's going to be out on the road and all of that. And I got to noticing, when you have a loaded 18-wheeler, you're not going nowhere fast. And you're not going to stop or slow down fast. It just ain't happening. And I know the folks were just trying to get to work on time and stuff. I wasn't aggravated with them or nothing. But almost every morning, I would go up bypass. It was a divided, big old, almost like interstate. And it'd be the same cars. We'd get at the same stop sign at the same time. And they would always, they couldn't wait to get around me. And they would take off, leave me sitting in the dust with my loaded 18-wheeler, go plumb out of sight. And 98% of the time, at the end of the bypass, at a red light, of course, they would be sitting at that red light when I got there. So we all wound up at the same spot at the same time anyway. And that's another thing made me decide, man, ain't no use getting no hurry. You really don't get ahead sometimes. You just create more problems that you normally wouldn't have. So, now, them is out as far as they'll go. And they're hitting, oh, there it comes. I think we got it. I decided to slow down. 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna get it no quicker anyway. Anyway, that's my philosophy for this morning. Let's see if this will come off of here. Nope. Well, just keep turning if it will. Oh, come on. Maybe a screwdriver. It appears to be very simple. Yeah, there it comes. There comes something. Something's moving. And again, I have no idea what this shot looks like. I'm experimenting with some modern plastic technology. Shoot, I could probably go out in the woods, cut me a hickory stick and whittle the same thing. Well, them screws got a long winding stem. Tell you what, let me pause it to keep it from going too long. We've got everything unhooked. I'm going to pause it, go ahead and get the carburetor off, and then we'll take a look. Okay, that looks rough. And I am not a carburetor expert. I'm not an expert on anything. But it probably shouldn't look like that. Now I got me some carb cleaner, which ain't gonna hurt us. And that, what do they call that, a jet? I may try to get that out and see if we can spray it out, clean it out. It's just real gummy. That looks to me like ethanol, gas, corn juice. Yeah. Now, hope y'all can see that. Like I said, I have no clue really what this is going to look like. I'm just experimenting and well, I don't guess the outside matters as much. Now what I'm looking for is this here. Get that out of the way. Well, it don't want to get out of the way, so we'll leave it where it's at. This here, I believe that's a, lack of a better term, a jet. I'm gonna pull that out. And I believe the way you set these on these old things is once you take it out, you go to put it back in, you run it all the way down, not tight, and then back it off 2.5 or 3 rounds. And honestly, that's about all I see. Got an idle screw right there. Oh, be still. Right here. What if I need to take that out? Well, it's gummy, ain't no question about it. And also, I'm probably, if I can figure out how to do it without tearing something up, take this float out. That looks like just a little pin. Just slide that out, and that needle should come out with it. Give that a look. But let me see what I can do, and I'm gonna pause it again. This thing's already 15 minutes, seems like we just started. But when I get that stuff out, we'll take a look at it. Okay. As usual, nothing's going the way I thought it would. This, I'm gonna try where you can see that jet in there refuses to move. and I believe that's brass, it looks like it, and it would be real easy to strip that out, so I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to leave it alone. The whatever this is on top of the carburetor, it goes down all the way. You look, you can see, let me hold this up to the light. Well, the camera's everything backwards. You can see that running down the middle of the carburetor. That is that jet, whatever you want to call it. And it appears to wind up down here. And I've got it up that far, and it flat refuses to come any further. However, I can see a couple of little holes in there. I've got it up. What I'm going to do, to be on the safe side, may work, may not work, is just take this thing outside, spray everything I can spray. I've got some carb cleaner. My motto is, if it ain't broke, don't break it. Clean the hound out of this thing. If there's a hound in there, it'd have to be a little bitty. Come back, put it on, and see what happened. So y'all give me a few minutes, which will be a split second for y'all to get that done. And I may go ahead and put the carburetor back on. Simple steps taking it off. It was just those 2 screws, and unhook the throttle and choke, and that was pretty much it. So let me work on this, just spray everything out best I can, see how much junk I can get out of there, and we'll come back. Like I said, I may go ahead and put the carburetor back on before I come back, but again, it's just a simple procedure, and heck, maybe it'll crank this time. Okay, we're back. That was 30 minutes. Oh me, I gotta get used to this thing if I use it. But here's where we're at. I've put an entire can of gum out cleaning this thing. I sprayed everything that even looked like a hole over and over. I had a huge can of gum out carburetor cleaner. I've used every bit of that except I saved some. We gotta clean the bowl out. It seems to be spraying out of everywhere it's supposed to spray, but I have no idea where all it's supposed to spray out. I took the float out, this needle seat, whatever you want to call it. This thing, I couldn't tell you if it's wore or not. I wouldn't know by looking, but it's pretty and it's shiny now, so we're going to put that back together and put everything back together, and then we're going to give it another shot at trying to crank it. I was very surprised that it didn't crank in the last video, because like I said, I have cranked it a couple of times for maybe 10 seconds or something, and it just run backfired so bad I shut it off. But let me put all of this mess back together, see if I do it right. And I never thought to get gasket material. It may leak gas. That's really the only one I'm worried about. That bolts up to the block and it don't look bad. This one is where the air filter goes on. So maybe we're okay there. And gum out, I just got gum out. Why did I get gum out? Well, those of you who've been following my channel for a few seconds know that I'm very scientific about this stuff. It was the very first thing I seen on the shelf when I walked in the door. And truth be told, there's not 2 cents worth of difference in this stuff. I know everybody has their favorite products and things. I do too on some products, but something like carburetor cleaner, all it does is just cut grease and dirt and varnish and all the other old gas. Basically, is what it does. Well, let me get this put back together, and I'm gonna see if I can't clean some more of that old 27 coats of paint on that off, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on the tractor and come back and we'll see if it'll crank. Well, let me show you something. This is the one, well, phooey, that was down in top of the carburetor that I said wouldn't come out. It would only come so far and stop. And I was putting this thing back together to the best I can, and I got, apparently there was something had it stuck in there where I've been cleaning on it for 30 minutes. It actually come out. That's what I was hoping for to begin with. I don't know if you can see them. There's little bitty holes, jets. I don't know what the scientific mechanical term is. It's a little hole all up and down that tube, and those, this thing won't focus for nothing, well, most likely stopped up. So now that I've got it out and I've about used up all my carb cleaner, I want to take this back outside and spray the what's left of the hound out. There you go. Maybe you can kind of see that through there. Spray this out completely, and that can only help us. It can't hurt us none. Well, we're back. A blink of an eye for y'all, and about 30-40 minutes for me. Looks pretty good. Let me show you what we got. You know how tinkerers are. They do one thing, they think they can do something else. This is our needle. And I don't know why this thing ain't focusing me. It's because I'm holding it and I'm shaking. But it cleaned up really good. I took it outside. I'm not going to spray carburetor cleaner and stuff in here with this heater. But I sprayed every one of them little holes out. Had carb cleaner spraying out of every one of them. I took some steel wool real fine, brushed that off, cleaned it up, and I thought, shoot, that's brass, let's make it pretty. And there's actually something wrote on there when I got that old paint off. I'm not sure what it is. With this, adjust the fuel flow, I think. Not sure. Recall in the last video, the bowl was horrible. We got that cleaned up pretty good. Looks a lot better. And what I was getting out of that, when I sprayed the carb cleaner in it, it looked just like mud. I guess it was old varnish, I'm not sure. But it looks a lot better. It's cleaner. Whether we did anything or not remains to be seen. And I sure hope I don't regret not getting gaskets. I'd have to stop everything, run back into town. I don't have no gasket material or nothing like that here in the shop. I should have, but I don't. Alright, for the third time, let me put all this back together, get it back on the tractor, and we'll try to crank that thing again. Okay, here we go. We have a fully rebuilt, professionally rebuilt, cleaned better not tell stories. Clean it best we could. A little bit of knowledge we got, which is none. Got a lot of gunk, dirt looking, just looked like pure dirt, mud, you name it. It was in there, and stuff you couldn't even name. And again, I hope these gaskets, I never thought about gasket material, but maybe they'll do. Right now I just want to get it to crank again, and we can go back if we need to and put gaskets and stuff. Looks a lot better than it did inside and out. Now I'm hoping, good Lord willing, she'll crank today. I really wanted to get it running in the last video, but it just wasn't happening. So let me get it on now, and I can't think of nothing else to do if it don't start now. We got excellent spark. We got 100% gasoline. Don't use ethanol. But we'll be back. Okay, we're back on. I think I hooked it, everything back up like it was. My memory, if you've seen an inchworm, it's longer than my memory is. I hope the gaskets hold up. And choking. And you'll notice that coil is moving when I move the choke. The choke bracket is actually attached to what holds the coil on. And I need to tighten that bolt, but it's okay for now. The throttle seems to be throttling, something's moving, stuff's moving. So what I'm gonna do, it's gonna take a minute. I'm gonna have to spin this over because there's absolutely nothing in that carburetor. And this video is getting longer than I intended for it to. I'm gonna back this out, just push it out where I can hook my booster cables up to the old truck, because I know I'm gonna have to wind on this thing to get anything up in that carburetor. And when I get all that set up, we'll be back again, and maybe she'll crank this time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment of truth. What I did, I backed it out of the shop. I done got old Bessie warmed up, but I'm hoping, always try the simple first. But we did get the carburetor cleaned out really good. Whew, maybe, glad y'all didn't see that fiasco of getting this thing out of here. It looks like just a very simple, just push it out. But you got to understand, it don't work that way around here. You gotta move this and that to get that. But we're gonna try it without putting the jumper cables on it and see what happens. I know I'm gonna have to wind on it because there's absolutely nothing in that carburetor. So choke, about half throttle, we're in neutral. So let's see what happens. Fast and partial choke. Well, phooey. I think I said that in the last video, just phooey. See no leaks. We got fuel. We know we're getting spark. Let's keep winding on it. Okay. Fuel leak right there at the fuel line. Let me tighten that up. Okay, well, that tells me we're getting fuel up to the carburetor now. So let's keep winding on it and run this new battery down. I don't like that throttle wide open. Come on, old girl. Cut the choke off. I'm gonna try the thing that I told y'all not to do, but honestly, it's not the mechanics way, but people's done it as far back as I can remember. I'm gonna try this, and then I'm gonna have to cut this video. It's already about 30 minutes. Alright, we're gonna give this a shot. I got y'all sitting on the ground. I may have to use both hands. I did the old gas down a spark plug hole trick, and if this don't work, we'll cut this video here till we can figure something else. Okay. It did something. Let me do that again.